Invincible, season 4, pretty good, and I like it. The finale was good. The episode before that was for sure good. Thrag was awesome. Dude, the Scourge virus, when they showed the Scourge virus, man, that shit kind of blew my mind a little bit. All those bodies piled up, billions of fucking bodies piled up, and they threw them out in space and made a ring around the planet. What the fuck? So that way, every time they fly in and out, they got to see the bodies and be reminded of what happened and what they're fighting for. And also, I'll assume that it would probably take up a lot of space if they tried to bury those bodies on the planet. I would assume you'd run out of room to bury an entire civilization. Being there's only like 50 of them left or something like that, they're burying every single other body on the planet. You're going to run out of room pretty quick. I'm not going to recap the season. Plenty of people's recap the season. If you watch Invincible, you know what happens. I want to talk about Thrag, dude. So Thrag, at first, all of us non-comic book readers, we were accusing him of being a fraud. His voice was too soft. Well, he showed up when they attacked the Coalition's planet. It was weird, right? Because he showed up in a spaceship, and he's got his underlings attacking the planet, and he's lasering the planet with the spaceship when, in my opinion, he could have just got out of the spaceship. So this is me from the future. While I was editing the video, I realized I was pronouncing Viltrumite wrong. I was pronouncing it Viltrumite with an N. I've always thought that's how it's pronounced for some reason. I never read the comics, so, I've never seen it spelled out. But, yeah, I know it's annoying, but yeah, nobody's going to watch the video anyway, so I'm just going to roll with it. I'm kind of retarded, so. He is, as strong as we know that he is now, he could have gotten out of his spaceship and done way more damage than he was doing with the little lasers and stuff. So I don't know if he didn't want to, because, see, and here's the thing, later on, you can see that he actually doesn't want to kill Viltrunites. He don't want to kill his own people, but that really contradicts the Purge thing, though, because he's the one who initiated the Purge. And I understand that was right after the man, I can't remember his name, the king, the leader. That's right after he got killed by the betrayer. So maybe he was just in his feelings, and he was like, we gotta kill off the weak. And it doesn't really make sense for the Purge to happen either, because, in the scenes, we can see 2 or 3 Viltrunites would be jumping one Viltrunite. So that doesn't necessarily mean the strongest Viltrunites survived, because if 2 or 3 are jumping one, well, the one could have been stronger than all the other 2 or 3, but they ganged up and killed him. It just don't really make any sense. You already had an empire. You already had a galactic empire. It seemed really loyal. You had one fucking guy and thousands of years to betray. So you had an empire, and then you start a civil war purge just out of the blue, and just blood running in the streets. And, Conquest thought about it for just a minute. He thought about fighting Thrag, but he's just not as strong as Thrag. But a lot of the stuff don't make sense. Like, he could have got out of the spaceship. Boom, he could have ended the Coalition right there. Okay, but he didn't do that. Well, whenever Mark and Nolan and them get to Viltrum, and they see Thrag there chilling there, and he's letting everybody fight, Thrag could have ended all of them right there. I honestly think instead of sitting there watching them fight, he could have just ended all of them right there. He could have done what he done. He could have pulled Theda's head off, stabbed Nolan with his arm, pulled Oliver's head off. He could have done all that like that, dude. Chase Mark down and smash his head. Now, I understand he didn't, because he didn't want to kill any more Viltrunites, and he had just had his planet. They blew the planet up. When they get back to Earth, and Thrag's there with his 37 Viltrunites, they could just enslave Earth. It probably wouldn't be a problem. Now, I guess Thrag don't really want to take the chance of trying to enslave Earth and then having Mark and Nolan and probably like Immortal. Let's face it, Immortal would just get packed up like really quick. But anyway, all the heroes and all that on Earth fighting against them, and then a lot of Earth would probably get destroyed. A lot of people would probably get killed. And I think Thrag he's really wanting to rebuild his population. So I think he's just playing it as safe as he possibly can. I think that is, in his vision, the best way to do it right now. Because he would have, as strong as he is, dude, Mark who killed Conquest, who was supposedly the second strongest Viltrumite. Mark did absolutely no damage to Thrag every time he hit it, and he hit him as hard as he could. Impact frames. Thrag just like, hey, stop. Stop, that's really annoying. All right, we're not going to hurt anybody. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to live here, and we're going to have a bunch of sex and have a bunch of baby Viltrumites. And, you know, what? He gives Mark the choice, but it's not really a choice. This is how it's going to be, but he still gives Mark the choice. I guess if Mark said no, why wouldn't he just go rip Mark's head off? Because, all right, he don't want to kill more Viltrumites, but he's on Earth now, so he's going to make more anyway. But anyway, I guess he just likes Mark. He has a soft spot for Mark. I think he thinks that Mark is strong. I think he thinks Mark has potential. And I guess he just maybe he really feels like it's his fault that the Empire is in the situation it's in, right? He feels like he's the one who didn't kill Thetis back before he assassinated the king. I keep saying king because I can't remember what they called him and what his name was. But anyway, he didn't kill the betrayer before that happened. And with him not doing that, the Scourge virus, you could blame that on Thrag. You could put that on Thrag. I mean, not directly, but he could have stopped it from happening anyway. In Thrag's mind, that's probably the way that he sees that. And then he allowed his planet to be destroyed, right? Or he didn't allow his planet to be destroyed, but he didn't stop it. Again, he just didn't stop. All these things that he could have stopped, he didn't stop. And I think it's because he really does have a soft spot for he does not want to kill his own kind. But then again, like I said, it kind of contradicts that because of the purge thing. So I don't know. I guess maybe I don't completely understand Thrag, but I do. But anyway, I feel like I could have been a better leader than Thrag. That's all I'm saying. And I'm sure all that can be explained by people who know way more about it than I do. Just giving my thoughts on it. Still going to watch season 5. Still love season 4. Still awesome show. I recommend it. If you haven't watched it, I recommend watching it. Anyway, those are some of my thoughts on a little bit from the season. There's a lot more that I want to touch on, but first video like this, so I just wanted to get it out there.